All right, in this lesson, transversals, finding the missing angles. So in the last few days, we've worked on learning what their names are. Now we're going to use the names to find missing angles. Right, so real quick, our little review is we have some of the angles are going to be congruent. Some of them are supplementary. Right, the ones that are congruent are vertical angles, alternate interior, alternate exterior, and corresponding. Supplementary angles are the consecutive interior, consecutive exterior, and also if you have any adjacent angles, when the ones that are next to each other, those are also supplementary. And just a reminder, supplementary means that they add to 180. Okay, so we're going to use these. So what you do is you look at the two angles, you determine which of these they are, then you'll know if they're congruent or if they're supplementary. Right, so I've picked out 4 examples here. So number 1, I know this angle is 75 degrees, and then what I'm looking for is this angle here. How big is this angle? Right, so what I do is I decide these 2 angles, they're across from each other. That means they're vertical. And vertical angles are congruent. So the unknown angle is the same as the angle we have. So number 1, the missing angle is 75 degrees. In number 2, we have it 68 degrees, and then next to it we have a question mark. When they're next to each other like that, those are adjacent, right? They make a straight line, and a straight line is always 180. So take 180 minus 68. We'll tell you what it is. That's going to be 112 degrees. So number 2, the answer is 112 degrees. In number 3, we've got 55 degrees and our question mark here. These 2 angles are consecutive interior, which, looking at our list, are supplementary. And they add to 180. So we do 180 minus 55, which is 45 degrees. So the missing angle is 45 degrees. The 4th example, we've got 113, and we've got our question mark. Those are alternate interior, which, looking at the list, tells me they are congruent. So the answer to 4 would just be 113. We're going to look at one more big example. So here's a example. Looking over here, we see that angle 1 is 103. I'm going to write that on the picture. So we know this one's 103. How big are the rest of them? Right, so we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. What I would do is, because I know some of them are going to be congruent angles, I'm going to start with all the congruent angles, right? So I'm going to look for vertical, alternate interior, alternate exteriors, and corresponding first. Get all the congruents out of the way, and then deal with the rest that are left. And congruent's easy because it's just the same answer, right? A really good one to start with is vertical angles. They go straight across. Those are always the same. Oops. So I know 7 has to be 103 degrees. right? And then going down to the next group, the bottom there, I know that corresponding angles are in the same spot, which means 3 and 1 have to be the same. They're corresponding angles. So the number 3 is 103 degrees. And then 5 is vertical with 3, so 5 is 103 degrees. Right, so we get those for there. So now for the rest of these, I'm going to take 180 minus 103, because the rest are supplementary. Doing that, I get 77 degrees. So 8 is 77 degrees. And 2 is vertical with that, which makes it 77 degrees. And then 2 and 6 are alternate interior, so that's 77 degrees. 4 is vertical with 6, so 4 is 77 degrees. So all the rest are 77 degrees. There we are. If you have any questions about today's lesson, you can send me a remind text and we will work on it together.